The Pittsfield Youth Baseball Association was incorporated in 1983 by a group of local volunteers. About this time, Bill Fries granted permission for the association to use his land on Tilton Hill for a field which eventually became known as Pittsfield Youth Athletic Park. In 1991, a second field was added, and through the years, a third and fourth. Concession stands were constructed and reconstructed as needed. Storage sheds, dugouts, and a batting cage were added over time. In 2002, after Mr. Fries passed away, his family deeded the property to the association. The following year, the organization purchased 3 acres adjacent to the field. By 2007, the park was a very nice facility, especially considering the size of Pittsfield and its relative lack of wealth. Indeed, the town is one of the poorest communities in the state of New Hampshire. The park was used for baseball and softball in the spring and summer, and soccer in the fall. There were no restrooms. Note the porta potty in the picture, and the clubhouse above the concession stand was very, very small. Parking was alongside 2 of the fields, and on a couple of occasions cars had rolled onto them while the games were being played. Drainage on the 3 lower fields was very poor, and water often collected on them, hindering play. Most importantly, there was no field with 90-foot base paths on which youth ages 13 to 16 could play. But as mentioned, the association had acquired land for this use in 2003, which can be seen on the right side of the layout. In August 2007, a renovation committee was formed, plans developed, and fundraising began with the goal of correcting these deficiencies. Engineering plans were developed by Kent Brown of Brown Engineering, who volunteered a great deal of his time. The final plan was accepted by the association during the winter. In September, clear-cutting the wooded area began, with the work being completed free of charge by David Ladd of Epsom Land Clearing. By May of 2008, the upper area of the newly acquired land had been cleared of trees, stumps, brush, and rocks. Again, much of the work was done free of charge, this time by Jim Parker of J. Parker and Daughters, who continued to contribute huge amounts of time throughout the project. All of the loam was skimmed off the area, screened, and stockpiled for later use. By October of 2008, the loam and stone dust on the 3 lower fields had been removed and stacked for later use. That month, digging out the area for the new field was begun. The fill was hauled from the upper field and placed on the 3 lower fields. Then disaster struck. The workers struck ledge. It was spread throughout the entire outfield. It had to be drilled and blasted. This took all of the entire winter months. In the spring, the ledge was crushed, much of it free of charge by Jim Locke of Northeast Earth Mechanics. A lot of the ledge was stacked for future use, but much had to be hauled away. Again, Jim Locke came to the rescue. The added cost of dealing with the ledge was approximately $100,000. During the fall, architect Harry Vogt designed the addition to the concession stand with restrooms, electrical room, storage room, and an enlarged clubhouse. During May, the lower 3 fields were graded so that they sloped toward the brook surrounding the park rather than away from it, and made ready for the infield mix and loam. During the summer of 2009, Ray Weber III and his father and brother volunteered to remove the dugout roofs on the lower fields so that the block walls could be heightened to accommodate the new grade of the fields. John Vienne completed the masonry work free of charge. A new underground electrical entrance was brought to the concession stand, much of the work being done gratis by Joseph Dara Enterprises. Final grading of the lower fields took place in August. Hydro seeding also took place that month. During the winter of 2009-2010, volunteers led by Dan Schroth reconstructed the stone wall at the east end of the park at no cost to PYBA. In the spring of 2010, play resumed on the 3 lower fields. At that time, a huge push was made to complete the new upper field. Drainage pipe and electrical conduit were installed. Bases for the new dugouts were also made ready. The crushed rock slope between the upper and lower fields was finished. Fencing and the new backstop were completed. Parking lot lights were installed. The handicap walkway in front of the concession stand was ready for paving. 2 new flagpoles were installed at the park's entrance. Trees and shrubs were planted. The new remote control scoreboard was installed. The path between the upper and floor fields was hydro-seeded and began growing before the turkeys arrived. In October, the new field was seeded and covered with straw, keeping the wild turkeys from eating most of the seeds. At the end of the month, the areas around the concession stand were hydro-seeded. The foregoing is a pictorial history of the progress on the renovation of Pittsfield Youth Athletic Park, but it tells only a small part of the story. Nearly 50 individuals have made monetary contributions to the project, as have over 60 businesses and organizations. It has been supported by 5 foundations and trust funds. In all, approximately $500,000 has been raised in cash. But again, that is only part of the story. Literally dozens upon dozens of people have volunteered their time, skill, and knowledge to push the project to a successful conclusion. The cash value of these in-kind contributions is well over $500,000. But we are not done and still need a great deal of help. We still need to build dugouts for the new field, a storage shed, and batting cages. We need to purchase bleachers and field lights. Some mandatory paving must be done to keep part of the parking lot from eroding. A large zero-turn lawnmower will be a must in the near future. All contributions are welcome and are tax deductible. Anyone contributing $500 or more will have their name placed on one of the plaques at the entrance to the park, along with other major contributors. Donations may be sent to the Pittsfield Youth Baseball Association, Post Office Box 112, Pittsfield, New Hampshire 03263. Please note that the donation is for the park renovation project. Please also note if it is being sent in the name of a middle high school class, and if so, the year the class graduated. A grand opening will be held in June of 2011 with gala festivities. Everybody is invited to participate. Thank you.